going on, guys? Today I figured I'd talk to you a little bit about shotguns. If you're new to shotguns, I have a lot of experience with shotguns, all different kinds. These are just a few that I got at my house right now. And today we'll be going over different kind of loads, different kind of actions, different chokes, what kind of shotgun to use for what kind of purpose. But general overview, shotguns really have always been the main workhorses of my gun collection for me. I have a little bit of everything, and I'm an avid hunter, and more often than not, I find myself carrying a shotgun in the woods. So without further ado, we will go over some things. So to start out with, we can go ahead and talk about different types of loads and their uses. So right here, I just kind of have a sample of a bunch of different things. First thing I want to talk about is different gauges. So typically, your most common shotgun gauges are going to be 12, which are often red shells, black shells, or green shells. Not specifically, but the most common shell colors you'll see for 12 gauges is red and green. Then you have your 20 gauge shells, which are usually yellow. I've had some that were green, different colors as well. And 410 gauge being the smallest. That's probably the third most popular shotgun cartridge. But you also have 16 gauge, 28 gauge, 10 gauge, 8 gauge. There's a whole variety of shotguns, but today we're going to focus predominantly on 12 and 20 gauge. I have a 410 as well, but that's not here right now. So let's go ahead and talk about some different kinds of loads. I know a lot of people have been buying shotguns lately, so there's a lot that goes into using a shotgun. So don't think you just picked up some random 12 gauge with a pump on it and now you're good to go for the apocalypse. Well, there's some stuff you gotta figure out here. I mean, what your purpose is and what you want to shoot out of it. So we'll talk about some different shot sizes and some different types of loads. So generally, so to speak, you have your birdshot, your buckshot, and your slugs. The beauty of the shotgun is the versatility of different kinds of ammo that it shoots, and that allows you to take a wide variety of game at different distances and in different conditions. So we will delve into the birdshot a little bit. Basically, birdshot is a series of small pellets, and so this one's kind of neat. This is a Fiocchi. And you can kind of see how a shot shell is constructed. It has all the pellets up top, a wad holding the pellets together, keeping them compacted, and your powder down here at the bottom, and your primer, obviously. And so that's what birdshot looks like inside. Now we'll talk about all these shells have different sizes of shot, and that's important depending on what game you're going after. So this right here is a target load from Fiocchi. This is a 2 3/4 inch, 7.5 shot size, and it's a 1 ounce shell. So this stuff is important to learn, okay? To start out with, how tall is the shell? So this one happens to be a 2 3/4. That's important because the chamber on your shotguns is chambered for a wide variety of different things. If you have a 3.5 inch chamber, you can shoot 3.5 inch shells, 3 inch shells, and 2 3/4 inch shells. If you have a 2 3/4 inch chamber, you can only shoot 2 3/4 inch shells. If you have a 3 inch chamber, you can shoot 3 inch shells and 2 3/4. Generally, your 3 inch shells are considered magnums. Your 3 inch, 3.5 inch shells are considered magnums. That means is they usually have more powder in them. Often they're high brass, and you can get a little more distance or a little more knockdown power out of them. So your 2 3/4 inch shells are most common in like your target loads for, say, skeet or something like that, and we'll start with that. So basically, if you just want some target shooting loads, 2 3/4 inch, 12 gauge, number 9, number 8, 7.5, and 7s are generally what you find for shot size for target rounds. It's another one from Winchester. It's a light recoil, 7.5 inch. I'm sorry, 7.5 shot size, 2 3/4 inch shell. So these are generally more of a target round. However, these are good for certain upland game like woodcock that have very light skin and fall easy. I generally use target loads for woodcock. So put those aside. And that brings us to the next thing in our bird shot, which is going to be game loads. So depending on the game, there are all different shot sizes you can use. Like we said earlier, for things like woodcock, target load's probably better. And one thing to understand about shotguns with the shot size, the higher the number, the lighter the shot is. The lower the number, the heavier it is. So when you start to go up in game size, say pheasant, grouse, squirrels, rabbits, stuff of that nature, then I generally stick with either number 6s, depending on the time of the year, or 7.5. If I'm going to be hunting small and upland game, I usually use 7.5, 6s. Because the shot size is a little heavier, penetrates a little better, and also punches through brush a little bit better. And then right here, I have a turkey load. This is a 3-inch number 6. So this is 6-shot turkeys. I generally use 4s, 5s, and 6s. And I prefer a 3-inch shell. Gives me a little extra distance, a little more knockdown power up close. And then we'll kind of get into the waterfowl stuff. For ducks, especially early season, you can get away with 4s and 3s. The majority of the time I shoot number 2, 3-inch number 2s. And one thing that I forgot to mention that's important, all of this like upland shot predominantly is lead based. When you hunt waterfowl like ducks, geese, and whatnot, you need to use steel shot. It doesn't penetrate as good, which is why the shot is generally larger, and they're usually magnum rounds. This is BB, which is the largest of the shells I have out here right now. Still bird shot, but it's relatively bigger shot size, and this is 3-inch black cloud. This is good for geese. Some guys do use it for ducks and whatnot, but this is good at putting down big birds. And this is a duck load right here. This is a 3-inch number 2 Super X. So we kind of covered bird shot. For ducks and things like that as well, they make bismuth, tungsten, triple B. You can go bigger when you get into fancier stuff, but that's kind of just a general idea of most of the ammo that you'll see around. And now we'll kind of get into buckshot. So this is a 3-inch, 12-gauge, double-aught buck. This particular one, this is an older shell. This is a 15 pellet buckshot round. Something important to understand about buckshot, pattern it in your shotgun. Figure out at what distance it starts to spread, where the spread is hitting on the target. This is not a point and shoot round. And to that end, if you look at Lucky Gunner, they seem to be having the best luck with 8 pellet double-aught buck. As far as how it's arranged in the cartridge, when it comes out of the end of the barrel, it seems to stay together the best. Regardless, whatever kind of buckshot you have, pattern it in your shotgun first, see how it shoots, and know your limitations with it. Any flyer off of it is potentially a liability, so definitely learn your buckshot. I don't know of anybody that actually hunts with buckshot. Where I'm at in the country, it's actually illegal. So this is strictly a personal defense round for me. But figured I'd include it. It's a high brass 3-inch double-aught buck for a 12-gauge. Good defensive round, especially up close. So the next thing I'm going to talk about here is slugs. So what I have are 2 different kinds of slugs. I have a regular rifled slug. I believe it's a 1-ounce slug. And Then I have a sabot slug. So what's the difference, you ask? Well, first things first, this is good ammunition for large game like deer, bear, moose, whatever. And I use a 12 gauge and a 20 gauge slug gun for deer hunting during shotgun season. So, what the difference between the two of these? Okay, that's what I'm getting at. So, this particular kind of slug, a sabot slug, is designed to shoot out of rifled barreled shotguns. That's a shotgun that has a rifled barrel. There's no rifling on the slug. It's in a little plastic sabot that hugs the rifling, and these tend to be more accurate at distance than your general rifled slugs here. So if you want slugs specifically for shooting at distance or for hunting, I would probably look into getting a shotgun that's got a rifled barrel and shoot sabot slugs out of it. Now, on the flip side, if you already get a shotgun at home that's a cylinder bore or maybe a fixed modified choke, something that's really a true smoothbore shotgun, but you don't want to buy a whole nother gun to go hunt deer, or you want to throw some defensive ammo in it and you don't want to use buckshot, well, that's where this comes in. This is a rifled slug, so basically it's a big ass chunk of lead that has rifling put on the slug itself. So when you fire this through your smoothbore barrel, the rifling that's put on the projectile hugs the barrel and rotates it and stabilizes it. I've had good luck with rifled slugs out to about 75 yards, and then the accuracy kind of gets a little wonky for me, but depends on the shooter, depends on the gun, depends on the round. So that's kind of a little bit of an overview on shotgun ammo to get you started. So next thing we'll talk about is chokes. An important thing that if you're getting into shotgunning, you have to understand the concept of chokes and what chokes do. So basically what a choke is a tapered constriction at the end of your barrel that controls the tightness of the pattern of the shot when you fire it. So what that means is depending on what choke you have in your shotgun, your pattern will either be really open up close or really tight up close, and there's advantages and disadvantages to both. So I'll talk about some different chokes that you can use to hunt different things. So I understand that there are more specialty chokes that do different things. Like I have a skeet choke in my 870 right now, but I'm not going to get into that. Generally, what you're going to see for chokes from the factory that come in like intro to shotgun kit or whatever is improved cylinder, modified, and full, and sometimes an extra full. So improved cylinder gives you the widest pattern at the closest distance. It's the most open constriction on your choke in a screw-in variety. So as you can see, the taper on these is a little different. Some are a little thicker. So basically improved cylinder or something like that is good for hunting grouse or woodcock or something in heavy brush where you're up close, or even waterfowl hunting if you're going to be taking shots within 15 yards. Also good for skeet shooting and things like that where you want to have a wide pattern up close. Then you have a modified choke, which is a good medium. Personally, I use the modified the most because my pattern is decently tight out to 30 yards, but still open enough where I can take pretty good shots up close. I think modified choke is a pretty good all-around choke, and that's predominantly what I use for hunting pretty much everything. And then you have a full choke. Full will keep your pattern tight, to 35, 40 yards. Some guys will say more, some guys will say less, depends on what kind of choke you're using, what kind of ammo, etc. I typically use the full choke for hunting turkeys, or if I'm field hunting geese or something, and I think I'll have a further shot than up close. So that's a little bit about chokes, and you can see a little better on this Benelli choke kit that they're all different diameters, and that's what you change the interchangeable chokes in and out with, is a choke wrench. So that's a little bit about chokes. So on chokes, this Mossberg right here, this 12 gauge, is actually a cylinder bore barrel. Doesn't receive screw-in chokes, and this is as open as shotguns get. It's a true blue smooth bore, no rifling, no constriction to the barrel. And the reason the defensive shotgun is set up like that is so I can easily shoot slugs or buckshot through it. And that's one thing I wanted to mention too. I wouldn't shoot slugs out of anything more than a fixed modified choke barrel if you don't have screw-in chokes. Generally not a super great idea. So this is my defensive shotgun on the bottom. Well, one of them, just kind of an El Cheapo. It's a Mossberg Maverick 88. Security model, 20-inch barrel, holds 7 rounds. Just got a cheap Enforce WML mounted under it, one of the high-vis fiber optics, and a Tacstar side saddle. And I keep this loaded with double op block. And moving on a little bit, I got the Benelli Super Black Eagle 3. This is my shotgun that I use predominantly for waterfowl hunting. Great shotgun. It's a workhorse. That's a semi-auto shotgun. There's advantages and disadvantages to it. I prefer pump guns for most things, but the semi-auto is nice for duck hunting. Often you can get a lot of rounds off. And the recoil reduction system in this gun is fantastic. I can shoot 3.5-inch shells out of there, and it feels like nothing. So if you are on the market for a hunting shotgun, I would strongly recommend Benelli. They're pretty fantastic, but this is an inertia-driven gun. Very smooth semi-auto action. You'll see other autoloaders that are gas operated. This one is not, so it's generally softer recoiling and shoots much cleaner. Then above that, I have another pump gun that's a Benelli Nova in 12 gauge. I can do a full video on all of these if you want, but that one shoots, these are bottom ones are both chambered in 3.5-inch. The Mossberg's a 3-inch gun. 26-inch barrel, interchangeable chokes. Had this gun forever. Killed literally everything with this shotgun. I mean, you name it. Coyotes, turkey, squirrels, rabbits, grouse, woodcock, ducks, geese. Shot it all with the shotgun, and it's a great gun. Holds up really well. The pump action's really robust, and in my opinion, for the money, it's the best 12 gauge shotgun out there on the market if you're just looking to get into shotguns. So definitely worth looking into, and they sell a wide variety of barrels for them. The shotgun above that is an old school 1960s Mossberg Revelation single shot 20 gauge with a fixed modified choke. That shotgun's there representing break action guns. I don't have any of my double barrels here, but typically with a break action gun, there'll be some sort of lever here or in the back here, and you push it down, barrel breaks open, put your shell in the chamber there, close it back up, and on this single shot you cock the hammer back, and then you can shoot. So this has a fixed modified choke barrel. If you're going to get a fixed choke barrel, I like the modified. I think it's the most versatile for what you get. You can hunt the most things with it, and I can still shoot slugs out of this. But nothing fancy. This is a hand-me-down gun from my dad. It's one of his first shotguns back in the day, and I still hunt small game with it quite a bit. So that is there, kind of representing the break action guns, but you can lump double barrels into that category as well. And then in the back here, I just got a Remington 870 Express Magnum in 20 gauge with a Hogue stock set on there. And this also has interchangeable chokes and a 3-inch chamber. So that's a very versatile shotgun as well. I use that for hunting small game and upland birds. I used to skeet shoot with it when I was younger, but before I moved up to a 12. So yeah, just to kind of give you guys a general idea of some things to look for in a shotgun. Most common action types you'll see again are semi-auto, pump, break action. Just know there are bolt action shotguns, there are lever action shotguns, and there's also some shotguns that are chambered for 2.5-inch shells, and that's important to know. So this is all stuff that you need to think about when you are buying ammo for your shotgun, or you're wanting to set up a shotgun, or you're going to look at shotguns. Generally, if you look at the barrel somewhere in this area, or maybe the back of the receiver, it will tell you what the shotgun's chambered for. And if you want to shoot, if you want to use your shotgun for waterfowl, you need to make sure that the barrel is rated to shoot steel shot. Because a lot of older guns like this, some of the old A5s and everything, they actually will not shoot steel shot. I mean, they'll shoot it, but you'll get a lot of sparks, or you'll get some issues because the barrel tends to be softer than the shot. So definitely something to keep in mind when you're looking at shotguns. Personally, I believe that shotguns are the most versatile and the most useful guns. Like I said, I use a shotgun more than anything else, really. And it's just a great tool to have. So if you guys have any questions, definitely let me know. I can go in a little more detail. I might have missed some things. Just kind of a quick down and dirty on what to know about picking up a shotgun. So